Today's story starts with a chap called Regan DM'd me saying, "Who's this gimp?" I already know who it was going to be. I knew it was going to be Vshred. Second he said gimp, I knew.
Do you put a pizza in your mouth?
I will never say no to pizza.
Any of you that watched my last video where I took down Vshred for pretending to be on Joe Rogan, you will have noticed he had the microphone, the headset, the curtains behind. The guy was pretending he was on Joe Rogan. To battle that, if you look very carefully, they've got a co-host to defend themselves on this point. It just so happens to be a coincidence.
Do you put a pizza in your mouth? I will never say no to pizza.
That you're on a podcast with a backdrop that looks like Joe Rogan, but he's obviously on a podcast, right? If I have a look, obviously this guy, you know, Vshred, very popular person. If I type in Vshred podcast, surely that would show up. No, you got Greg Doucette, myself, and a few other people ripping the arsehole out of this guy for pretending to be on Rogan, but Vshred's podcast is nowhere to be seen because it doesn't exist. Now, we've seen in the last year a lot of cringy examples of people pretending to be on a podcast. But that's the wonderful thing, John, about the James Smith Academy. It's affordable online personal training, so funny you asked. No one's buying it. We know that's not a podcast. We know you sat there, you pre-organized this to chat waffle about whatever it is you're promoting. We're not dumb.
I do eat pizza. I love donuts. I love burgers. I really do eat this food.
I will never say no to pizza. Now, whether or not this is desperation or marketing genius, they've now got someone to pretend they're reacting to a video of Vshred on a Vshred advert.
So you probably have come across this guy before. He doesn't even cut back on carbs.
You think that I don't eat carbs? You're wrong.
Supposedly he's a celebrity trainer.
Some random geezer wearing a gilet, and I know that's probably the most controversial thing of this whole entire video that I called it a gilet. I think it's a British thing. I know in Australia and maybe in America, you're like, that's a vest. But what you call a vest, we would actually say, no, you mean a singlet, because we call a vest like a wife beater, but you shouldn't call anything a wife beater, not even a can of Stella Artois, because no one should beat their wives. But sleeveless t-shirt is a vest. That thing that Knob is wearing is a gilet, and a singlet isn't an item of clothing. It sounds like it'd be better suited to call in and like a duck on its own. Oh, look, a singlet.
I met him yesterday at a conference, so I asked him, how are you so shredded? He doesn't even cut back on carbs.
Doesn't even cut back on carbs. For a start, he's eating pizza, which is not really a carbohydrate-rich food. It's probably got more dietary, it's almost definitely got more dietary fats in it. And again, here's a donut. These foods are very high in fats and carbohydrates. It's actually the mix of both that makes it such an hedonic and popular food. I actually think that Krispy Kreme even said their most popular donut was the original glazed because it had the closest macronutrient balance. I think it has to be almost like a constituent of 50-50 between carbohydrates and fats, because actually carbohydrates on their own are not actually that much of a problem. No one here has a problem with white rice. And again, dietary fats on their own aren't really too much of a problem. No one's there like knobbing off to a knob of butter. And, you know, it's when we mix the two together, potato, fat, chips, crisps. And again, some people, you're like, you mean potato chips, hot chips? Look, you got crisps that come in a packet and you got chips that are hot and you put ketchup on. And again, look, we're not here to talk about this, but if you put ketchup on everything, you're an idiot. I hate it. But can I put a bit of ketchup on that? Look, it's a sausage roll. It's supposed to taste like a sausage roll. Don't put ketchup on it or it's going to taste like ketchup. Then they have a beef pie and put ketchup on it. I'm like, if you want everything to taste like ketchup, you got an issue, mate. Grow up. You're 27 years old. Stop putting ketchup on everything. I hate it where you got like personal trainers like this guy. He's probably not even a personal trainer who's like, oh, you don't think I eat carbs? Listen, they're trying to make it seem like he has a system to allow him to eat like that. And that if you were to pay the money and get past the firewall, you could have that system. But look at the guy. He's a dreamy guy. He's good looking. His proportions are very good. He has a very strong hairline. Even the way his facial hair and his constructions, the reason he was picked to be the front man of this business is because of his genetics. If he wasn't such an annoying nose, he could be comparable to a Greek god. And I'm telling you now, he is one of these people of the top echelon that do not have to put a lot of effort into sustaining the way they look. And the reason I can tell you he doesn't have to put much effort into it without knowing is to see how consistent he's done it over time. Now, that is a generalization that I have no actual evidence to back up, but in the majority of situations where there's a high amount of effort required for someone to fight against their genetics to remain in shape, you see more peaks and troughs between in shape and out of shape. The same reason he was picked for the job he's doing is the same reason he probably eats a varied diet and remains in shape all year round. And here we start to see the confusion tactics that are going to be everywhere you look. So imagine this for a second. To my right, I have you, the person watching this video. To the left, I have creating a calorie deficit, hitting a step count, high protein diet, pretty much the calorie deficit thing here. Now, people in the middle want to separate you from the information you need, so they create a system in place they can to confuse you, whether it be fasting, keto, 5-2, all of these things. Even Michael Mosley's 800. Like, this guy was like, oh yeah, I've been studying for years. And I've come to this magical amount of calories, 800 calories a day. It's just going to reverse diabetes. So anyone, almost anyone, and I mean like 99.9% of people, if you put them on 800 calories, they're in a deficit. Well done, mate. How you spread that across 600 pages, I do not know. Anyway.
All these foods that you don't think that you ever get to eat when following a diet, I'm eating them and I'm in the best shape of my life. Once you know what your body type is, the road to weight loss is so much easier because it fits your metabolic needs and your body isn't constantly fighting against you.
Vshred's way of conning you into buying his product is this body type, to make you feel like there's a certain body type you have. We saw somatotypes that were disregarded even in the 1950s. They were more of a psychological concept than a physiological. They were disregarded a long time ago, that you had endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. And they want you to feel like whatever systems you've been implementing are incorrect because you haven't been making the right decisions for your body type. We are all vastly different from a standpoint of genetics, energies burnt, appetite, size, gender, ethnicity. All of these things will impact rates of fat loss, rates of muscle growth, so many things. But the methodologies in which we utilize to build muscle, to lose fat, to build cardiovascular fitness remain the same. It will just be harder for some populations than others. But that does not mean you need to diet specifically for a body type. The process in some respects is very smart. Pretend you're on Joe Rogan, get a level of appeal to authority. Oh my God, look at this person that's in shape and also better looking and in better genetical makeup than the rest of us. Look at him eating pizza and a donut. Wow, how does he do it? Well, it's not the fact he's genetically superior. It's the fact that he appreciates we need to train right and eat right for our body type. Hey, I'm sure everything you've done hasn't worked before because you haven't done what's right for your body type. Download my body type quiz and let's tell you what's right. And let me put you into a 30-minute sales pitch to then buy my product. This guy's a knob. He's a knob. Worst thing is, his marketing team are that good, you'll probably get served an advert of it watching this video.